the O. Henry Playhouse presents The World and the Door. This is the island of LaPaz. There's nothing distinctive about it, nor would there be any reason for historians to remember it, except that one day O. Henry decided to spend a few quiet days in the island's only hotel, and it was there that he wrote a story called The World and the Door. And with a brief few hundred words, the world learned about LaPaz, and today historians are able to remember it.
If one wanted to check into this exciting little establishment, how would one ordinarily go about it?
Offhand, I can't understand why anyone would want to.
Ralph, I've been looking for you. Well, hello. Welcome to LaPaz. I'm Florence Conan. I guess you've already met Mr. Marion.
My name is O. Henry.
How do you do, sir?
I'm one of your most avid fans. Will you be here long?
A few days, perhaps a week.
Good. Then the three of us must have dinner together some night.
I'd be delighted.
Forgive me, senor, but I was busy elsewhere.
Tio, you take extra special care of our guest. Mr. O. Henry is a very famous man.
We'll see you later.
Goodbye.
They seem to be very interesting people. Very interesting indeed.
Are you really famous, senor?
Not especially.
If the senorita say you are, then you must be. She's a wonderful lady. Will you be staying down here, Senor O. Henry?
Till the boat returns from Punta de Arena.
Could be 1 week, maybe 2. Who knows? I will give you the best room in my place. You can see out to the ocean for thousands of miles. Maybe.
Fine. Do you want me to register?
For 2 reasons. Sometimes for the police, and also for the mail.
To my knowledge, there's never been a third.
Mil perdones, senor. But for 2 days now, you'll be staying in your room. You was worried. Maybe you sick or something.
If bringing a story into the world has caused sickness, then I've been sick. But now that it's finished, I feel better.
Senor, what you do with story now is finished?
Sell it to some innocent, unsuspecting publisher. Hey, maybe you'd like to read it.
Oh, no, senor. English, I do not read good. But if you speak, I understand better.
Maybe I better tell you the story.
Gracias, senor.
Now, it's about your hotel and your 2 guests, Miss Conan and Ralph Marion.
That is good. You write now things about my hotel. You tell about beautiful view of ocean.
Not exactly. You see, when a man writes a story, Tia, his mind moves into a land of make-believe. Tells about living people, takes them, and then rebuilds their lives. It's called literary license.
Por favor, senor, what it means, literary license?
Well, the meaning's unimportant.
You take these things with Tio's hotel?
Uh-huh.
Also take license with the senor and the senorita?
That's right.
How it work, this license?
Well, now, let's start with Ralph Marion.
Nice gentleman, senor Murray.
No doubt about that, but in my story, he's a man who can't return to his own country.
But senor Murray can return to his country. He is a citizen of the United States. I saw his pasaporte. Why you say such bad things, senor?
Because it was necessary, Tio. He was in trouble. Grave trouble. Trouble that started one night 6 months ago, way back in New York City. Well, it was 4 o'clock in the morning when Marion and his partner, Fred Ward, along with their very wealthy client, Thomas Hedges, returned to Hedges' home for a nightcap.
It's been quite a night. Quite a night. I'll bet when I first picked you up, Ralph, you never thought you'd end up a wealthy man.
I guess we've been lucky for each other.
Nonsense. Without me, you'd still be small-time real estate operators. It was my imagination and business acumen that made you a success. Without me, you'd be lost. Well, isn't that right, Fred? Well, isn't it?
All right, Tom. I owe everything I have to you. Now, what do you say we call it a night?
I'm not ready to call it, which means you'll stay until I want to dismiss you. So sit down. You're my puppet, Ralph. I pull the strings and you dance to my tune.
Tom, you're talking like a fool.
Who do you think you're talking to? Why, for 2 pins, I'd put you back in the gutter where I found you.
Let's go, Fred. Before I say something we'll all regret.
You've killed him. Ralph, you've got to get away. So next morning, Marion left New York aboard a tramp steamer. He had no particular destination. All he wanted was to get out of the country before the police put a rope around his neck.
But that's not true. When Senor Martin arrived here, he was a happy man. He said that LaPaz was a paradise.
Of course he did, and he was right. What he needed was a place where the tourist trade was practically nil. Because if he was recognized, he'd be sent back to the United States and put to death. LaPaz was a perfect hideaway.
Oh, no, Senor Henry. You're making a big mistake. Senor Murray, he's not a murderer. He's too nice to hurt anyone.
T.O., you're becoming unduly excited. As I explained, a writer always takes literary license.
Literary license, very strange to me. It allows persons to say big untruth. Our good padre will call this license the devil. If the police hear what you say, right away they throw poor Senor Murray in jail. Why you want that to happen? Don't you like him?
T.O., this is a story, not a denunciation.
Very early, you say you was going to write about the señorita.
Oh, that's right. I'll have to admit, finding a background for her was not so easy. For a long time, I played with the idea of making her a shoplifter, forger, but neither of those problems were strong enough to force her into self-exile here in LaPaz.
Señorita, she's here for a vacation.
Oh, I've no doubt of that, but if I put that in the story, it'll make very dull reading. No, Tia, I had to give her another reason for being here. And I also gave her a husband, a very successful industrialist, Lloyd A. Conan.
I want a divorce.
Ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous? It's obvious you don't love me. It's also quite apparent that you find much more excitement away from your own home. Why not a divorce? And then you wouldn't have to sneak or think up petty excuses or sudden reasons for quick business trips to Chicago or Detroit. Why should we both be miserable?
Oh, but you're wrong, my dear. I'm not miserable. In fact, Florence, I find our arrangement very effective for me.
I don't understand what you mean.
It's actually not difficult to understand, my dear. You were right when you said I don't love you. In fact, many times, Florence, I've wondered if I ever loved you. Oh, I admit there have been times when we found a few moments in Wonderland. But on the whole, my dear, it's been quite boring. You're not a very exciting woman, Florence. You're a good woman. Perhaps that's why you're so dull.
Feeling as you do, Lloyd. Why did you marry me?
Is this the night we cleanse our souls?
I asked you a question.
And so you'll be answered. 10 years ago, I had a small business in Atlanta, remember? I was very ambitious, Florence. I knew that if I had the wherewithal, I could become a success. I knew also that if I didn't have the capital, I'd remain a small businessman. I hated that thought. And I swore that whatever the cost, I'd find a way to get the things I wanted and deserved. Then you came along. The rest of it you know.
I never realized I was the wherewithal.
Oh, you shouldn't feel bad, Florence. I've tried to make up for it in many little ways. Furs, jewelry, houses.
You forget, Lloyd, I could have bought those things myself.
Yes, I know. I'm well aware of your wealth, Florence. Now let's not discuss the matter any further. You know exactly how I feel, and you can handle yourself accordingly.
The only way I want to handle this is to get a divorce.
No, that's the one thing you can't have, my dear. If you want to travel, I'll be happy to say yes. Or if you want to visit your family, I'll not stand in your way. In fact, my dear, I'll grant any request you make, other than a divorce.
But Why?
Because, my dear, marriage is the perfect protective shield for me. Gives me unlimited range, allows me to enjoy life. And if any one affair becomes too serious, I always have the escape because of my marital status. No, divorce would only encumber my way of life, my dear. It's the type of freedom I don't require. Why don't you take my advice and find somebody amusing, toy, if you want to call it that. Get away from those stuffy women you know. Learn to make the best of a bad bargain.
I hate you.
I'm not surprised. Now, if you'll do me the favor of letting me finish my work. Oh, Florence, before you retire, will you bring me my glass of milk? I'm going to be up for hours.
What you do is a big sin. First you say, Senor Murray, it's a murder. Then you make terrible person out of the señorita. It's not good what you do, senor. You bring much misery to nice people. You make Tio very unhappy. Why you have to say such bad things?
Tio, try to remember it's an imaginary story, a piece of fiction. It's all make-believe.
But, Senor Henry, how can it make believe? In my hotel is the senor and the señorita. They are not make-believe. I know. I talk to them. They're not like you say. They're very nice people.
According to my story, they're doomed souls, sentenced to a lifetime of hiding. For them, the world has no longer any meaning. They've no place to go except to wait and pray for the day to come when they can close their eyes and embrace the final long, deep sleep.
It's terrible way to live. And it's terrible the way they fool poor Tio. All the time I think they were mucho nice. Now I find out they're bad. What will happen to them, Senor Henry?
Well, Tio, for the next part of my story, I had to call on fate. That's a little four-letter word that affects our lives every day. It was fate that brought Florence Conan to LaPaz. And ironically, it was fate that the only other American here was Ralph Marion.
See, before you arrived, there were only 2 Americans in the island.
That's what I mean. And because there were only 2, they were forced to spend time together. And little by little, they discovered that while they were together, they didn't think of the crime they'd committed. So hungrily, they tried to spend each minute of every day together because these doomed souls wanted no time to remember. But it was then that fate played another trick. She arranged to surprise them with something that neither of them had anticipated.
It's been a lovely evening, Ralph. I hate to see it end.
Why does it have to? Why can't it go on forever?
Sooner or later, everything ends.
You sound as though life means only futility to you.
What does it mean to you?
For me, it has a much different meaning. I love you, Florence. I want to marry you.
It'd never work.
But it would. These past few months have been wonderful for me. For the first time in my life, I've been really happy. You've given me a new reason for living. You've given a new purpose to my life.
But you know nothing about me.
I know that I love you. And for me, that's enough.
Under normal circumstances, I'd agree with you, but...
You don't love me.
Oh, yes, I do. When I first came to LaPaz, I didn't care whether I lived or died. You came along and everything changed. I do love you.
Then there's nothing more to talk about. I'll make plans for our wedding in the morning. How does the day after tomorrow sound?
No. Don't you understand? Marrying me would make you a prisoner.
Prisoner?
I can never leave LaPaz. The day will come when your work here is finished and you'll return to the States. I murdered a man, my husband. That's what I meant about making you a prisoner. Marrying me would mean giving up your freedom, giving up the 4 seasons. No more crowded cities or beautiful Christmas trees or wonderful parties. All you'd have with me is a life filled with nothingness. And in time, you'd come to hate me.
Florence. I lied to you about being here on business. I'm in LaPaz because I also killed a man. These past few weeks, I've been worried sick. I knew I loved you. I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. I was willing to risk whatever might happen the day you might decide to return home. I knew I couldn't go with you. But I figured if we could be together for just a few months, it would be worth any price I might have to pay.
And now that possibility no longer exists.
But it does. Don't you see, darling? We've been given a new chance. As long as we're together, we can shut the door on the world.
I love you.
But, Senor Henry, Tio, very confused. The senor and the señorita, they're good friends, but no plans for marriage have been made. If it is true, Tio would have heard. The village already will be preparing for big celebration. You're making a mistake. They don't get married.
That's fine, Tio. Now you're using your imagination. You know, it's strange. No matter how carefully you plan the future, the unexpected can always occur.
What do you mean, unexpected?
Well, you ought to know you were there.
Eh? I was there.
Certainly. It happened the next morning. You went out on the porch to see why a ship had suddenly decided to make an unscheduled port call at LaPaz.
Welcome to El Rio del Mar. I am Tio, the owner of this magnificent hotel.
Can you try that? He speaks American.
Good English. So when have guests from the States, I can talk to them.
Thought Americans have more sense than to get stuck in a place like this. Any of them around here now?
See, two. A nice American lady and Senor Marion.
Did you say Marion?
See?
That means yes.
I know. What do you think I am, a fool? This Marion fella, is his first name Ralph?
See? Senor Ralph Marion.
What do you know about that? Ralph Marion in a stinking place like this.
No, Tom. It couldn't be the same. It's just coincidence. Let's go back to the boat.
My throat's drier than the Arizona desert. While this little man fixes me a drink, you go find this Ralph Marion.
It's not necessary to look for Senor Marion. Him in lobby now.
Hello, Ralph.
Tom,
Yeah, I know. You thought I was a goner.
Good to see you again, Ralph. Well, I mean, no one knew where to find you. You should have written. I'd have told you everything was all right.
Oh, Tom, I'm glad you're not dead. Real glad.
So am I, boy. For a while, the doctors thought I was a candidate for a coffin, just because I got tired and quit breathing for a spell. I was laid up in the hospital for a couple of months, and I was all ready to start kicking all over again.
You really did him a favor, Ralph. The rest added 10 years to his life.
Oh. You don't know how happy I am to know I haven't committed a murder. I still can't believe it. But what are you doing down here?
Oh, who knows? Ward and I decided we'd been working too hard, sort of felt we needed a vacation, so we hopped a boat for Valparaiso. This morning, the captain told us we were docking here for a couple of hours, and if I wasn't dying to feel the earth under my feet, we'd have never come ashore, and we'd never found you. But more important, What have you been doing with yourself?
Rotting away, Tom. Hating myself for having fired a gun. Living a daily hell. Praying for the day when I'd stop breathing.
Well, it's all over now. Oh, sure it is. Say, you remember that corner on East 14th Street?
You mean the one with the two-story red brick building?
The same. Well, the old miser who owns it has finally agreed to talk sale. Ward and I have figured out an offer, and we figure that $50,000 ought to cinch it. In a year's time, that corner will be worth twice that amount.
Might be wise if we started with $30,000. Oh, he'll want more. But maybe we can get it for $40,000.
Looks like Ralph's forced vacation hasn't dulled his touch any. Say, where can we get a drink and have a little talk? There are several things I want to bring you up to date on.
Theo will bring them to us in the patio. While he's fixing the drinks, I'll go get Florence. I want you to meet her.
Who's Florence?
The woman I'm going to marry.
Ah, congratulations. But let's hold off meeting her till we've had our little business talk. Women find man talk more than a little boring.
Yeah, sure.
And there in the newspaper Thomas Hedges had thrown away was a news item that changed Florence Conan's life. The news release simply stated, Lloyd B. Conan, well-known New Jersey industrialist, wins divorce suit. It will be remembered Mrs. Conan disappeared one evening in March of last year. After her departure, a full bottle of aconite was found on her night table. This indicated Mrs. Conan contemplated suicide and at the last moment abandoned the idea, leaving home instead. You see, Theo, the noise she heard outside her bedroom door so startled Florence Conan that in her haste, she poured her husband's sleeping medicine into his glass of milk.
That is good. See, Theo was right. Nice people. They don't kill nobody. Now they will be happy together. No more trouble, never.
I don't know, Theo. Now they had a new problem. Because each knew that they were free to leave LaPaz. And they began to wonder whether freedom was more important than love. Whether the door to the world should stay shut.
Makes no difference, Senor Henry. First time they meet, each tell the other the good news and go back to the States together, see?
Uh-huh. According to my story, it was later that afternoon, and you were at your desk.
Theo, have you seen Mr. Marion? I tried his room, but there wasn't any answer. Did he go to the village?
He no tell you?
Tell me what?
Today, two men came, all friends. They talk and laugh much. Then Senor Marion pack and leave. They all sail to Valparaiso. Funny, Senor Marion say something that Theo didn't understand.
What?
He said he was free. Instead of closing doors on the world, he was free to walk through it. Makes no sense.
Oh, it makes sense, Theo. Strange, I had the same decision to make. Only I decided to stay with him.
But I did not say those things to the señorita.
In my story, you do.
Never before does it happen where Theo can remember nothing. After Senor Murray leave the hotel, maybe he come back to the American lady? You mean they never see each other again? Very sad. Theo very unhappy for everybody. Theo don't want to hear no more.
Theo, have you seen Mr. Marion? I've been looking for him.
I already give you the message. Senor Murray not a nice man. He left with two friends to Valparaiso on the afternoon boat.
Well, that's impossible.
Life is full of surprises. Surprises sometimes good, surprises sometimes bad. Theo, very sorry for you.
Florence, where have you been? I've been looking for you.
Well, Theo just told me you'd left for Valparaiso.
Now, why would you tell her that?
Well, it's really more my fault than his. Theo has been having a trying half hour trying to follow a new path through an emotional jungle.
A new path? What do you mean?
Well, for want of a better explanation, let's just call it the path of fiction.
Let's go, Florence.
Senor Henry.
Huh?
Tio feels very sick. Very dizzy on the head, like too much sun. Best to go to bed.